Hello, warriors. Welcome to the U Movement, and welcome to the bedside seats of a spiritual awakening. I had a question posed to me this morning that I thought was worthy of making a video on. The question was, how do you purge? Like, what does that look like for you? And I thought it was actually a really poignant question because if you are like me, you have been repressing emotion your whole life. And there are lots of videos that, talk about emotions, but there aren't so many videos that talk about like releasing repressed emotions because, you've been holding on to that shit for a really, really, really long time, in my case, down to infancy, because it was never safe to emote. If you weren't taught that it was safe to emote, how the fuck are you supposed to learn how to emote? Like, how to release, how to purge. In a healthy environment, when an infant cries, it is sending a signal to its caregiver, help, I need attention, my nappy's wet, I'm hungry, I just want comfort. And then the caregiver is supposed to come, and what does a caregiver do? Caregiver picks up said baby and rocks the baby and feeds the baby and changes the baby and soothes the baby and thus teaches the baby, okay, when I cry, my needs are met, and this is what it feels like to have my needs met. But what if your needs weren't met? What if your parent was one of those, you know, misguided at best, foolish at worst parents that believed Dr. Spock that said, oh, the best thing you should do is leave a baby to cry? Thus, teaching a child that crying and emoting is pointless because it doesn't get my needs met. Therefore, I'm just going to give up and lie here. And where does the emotion go? It just goes nowhere. It gets held on. And then you have repressed, suppressed emotions. And, it doesn't necessarily need to be a root of infancy. For me, it most certainly was, because I'm not sure of the exact age that I went into foster care, but it would have been maybe 1.5-ish. So I went from having parents, and then my birth father went to prison, and then my birth grandmother died, and then my birth aunt died, and then my mother couldn't cope, and all I was now in a foster care, where at age 1.5 the first time round anyways. So I can well imagine, my little infant body was like, and now who's gonna meet my needs? Oh, nobody? Okay. So I'm just gonna lie here and in terror, in fear, in pain, in agony, in grief. But I'm 1.5 and I don't know how to self-regulate. There wasn't anybody there saying, there, it's okay, let it out, you're gonna be okay, I understand, you just lost your entire family. One after another and after another. There was nobody there. No safe person there. And then when I finally was adopted into a family, I was adopted into a family where a mother lacked the capacity to emote effectively herself. So how the hell was she supposed to teach me how to emote effectively? Instead, there were moments. I'll give her that. There were moments. I remember there were moments where I was in a rocking chair and she would soothe me. And then she got bored of that really quick. Like that was like, okay, we're done now. But wait a second. I'm not done now. I'm 2.5 and you're a stranger and my entire reality and friends just like circle of people, my family and all that came with that are gone. I went uh from being with my mother to being into foster care, to being with my mother, to being into foster care with a whole bunch of strangers that became kind of like friends, I guess. And then to being in, and I'm supposed to be like just over it already, am I? Like I think maybe she gave me a week. I don't know. I can't recall exactly, but all I remember is 1 minute I'm getting soothed, and the next minute I'm being told to go deal with it. So like at 2.5, I'm lying in a bedroom, like terrified. And it was safer for me to be in the bedroom because if I ran into this parenting new parents room, I can remember that my dad used to snore so loud and it was scary, like a bear. And so I was terrified. So I'd run back into my room and I needed comfort, but I didn't know how to give myself comfort at age 2.5. There were a lot of things I didn't know how to do at age 2.5. And so all I could do was lie still and clench, because that's what we do. We clench it all up, holding on. And this is called armoring. So all your muscles go and armor up like an armadillo. Uh, and they hold on to dear life, to whatever like this emotion is that we're experiencing. As I've said in multiple videos, trauma is not what happened to you. It's what happened inside of your body as a result of what happened to you or what didn't happen to you. Because, you know, getting hit is a happening to me that I didn't enjoy. But also not being soothed and not being comforted when my entire reality as a child, as like a toddler, completely crumbled around me, and I was experiencing terror that, and I remember, I can clearly remember the night terrors that I used to have. Um, and I had nobody there to soothe me through those night terrors, as a 3-year-old, 2.5-year-old, 3-year-old. And so we hold on and we armor, and that armor goes around our little itty bitty muscles, our little toddler muscles. And then it's like a snake that grows, only there's a skin around those itty bitty muscles holding that emotion in place. And so we try to grow. And yes, physically we manage to grow, but emotionally we are stunted. Spiritually we are repressed. And even physically over time, all of those muscles will develop health conditions. So it is very common amongst children who suffered from sexual abuse and other said traumas, because of this armoring that happens, to have severe low back pain, because all the little itty bitty muscles all around your spine, your root chakra, are like, I gotta hold this in. I gotta hold all this shit in. Oh my God. And so, all along your root chakra, the low 3 vertebrae, in my body have been holding on for dear life and seized, and then on top of it, all getting spanked red raw, all the gluteus maximus muscles, the gluteus minimus muscles, the piriformis muscles, the psoas muscles, also were all like gnarly. And so you go through life holding these muscles. You don't even realize you're doing it. Okay, first of all, because that's like your state of being. Your state of being is always to be clenched. So you just go through life and you're like, oh, I'm not as flexible as the other kids. I can remember in dance class, some of the kids would be like doing like the craziest, like, you know, stretches. And I'm like, touch your toes. How the fuck do you do that? Like, I couldn't touch my toes, like bend over, like in ballet class when I was little, I'd be bent over and I'd be like, and they'd be like their bodies on top of their legs. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. I couldn't do that. My flexibility had already been debilitated. So first question, how flexible are you? How flexible are you really? Because that's a huge red flag that you're holding on to trauma. You're holding on to emotions you haven't processed. And so in this great awakening, something is triggered into action, and it's like, oh, sorry, all those repressed emotions that you had when you were 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 27, all of those, yeah, they need to be purged out of you. They need to come out of you. Well, how do you do that? Like, this is a how-to video. How do you do that if you've never been taught? If you've never had a safe place to do that? Do you go to counseling where you sit stoically and talk about it? That's not going to do it. It's not in your mind. It's in your body. It's in your muscles. That's where the emotions are lurking and hiding. It's in the tissue. So I spent 30 years wasting my time going to counseling, talking like a news counselor. I could talk about my adoption without like any emotion. Yes, I was adopted. That is what happened to me. No, I have zero feeling about this situation because I was completely disconnected. That's what you do, is you disconnect from your body, from your emotions, you're completely disconnected. Talk about out of body experience. Like was I ever even in my body? I don't know. I don't think so. I think I was always like just kind of like coexisting, but not at all like truly in or listening to my body. I was certainly not listening to my body. What does not listening to your body show up like? Oh, I have an ache or pain. I'm going to take a Tylenol. Oh, I feel some emotions that I'm not comfortable with. I'm going to have a cigarette. Oh, I need to socialize. There's some social anxiety. I'm going to have a drink. Oh, I feel sad. I'm going to go to the doctor and talk about my sad and ask and get pharmaceuticals. Oh, thank you for the antidepressants to help me not feel. Oh, I'm dealing with anger. I'm going to go to the gym. Oh, I'm not getting my needs met. I'm going to clean my house and be a micromanager and can try to control my environment. Oh, I feel fearful about other people's emotions, so I'm going to micromanage and be a people pleaser so that your emotions can be stabilized so I can be stabilized, because my emotions are requiring your emotions to be stable, because I've got no sense of like self and no sense of like awareness on how any of these processes work. Because I was raised by somebody that didn't have any form of emotional regulation, so how the fuck was I supposed to learn it? So here we are, sober, and spiritual awakenings are happening, and energy is coming into the planet through solar flares. Schumann resonance is off the charts. The planets are all doing whatever the planets are doing. And spirit is saying, right, you need to purge this shit. You need to heal. I apologize for the noise in the background. It's rather annoying at the moment. They're laying gravel. And so I have been in the process of purging now for 4 years. 4 years of this fun. And what does purging look like? So first it starts, you can feel it coming. Oh, you can feel it coming. And that's when you have all your cravings. That's when you're like, I can feel myself uncomfortable, discomfort. Something's coming to the surface. I would rather eat sugar. I would rather go to the gym. I would rather something. And spirit's like, nope, it's a coming out, is so it is. So the first few years of emotional releases, I can only describe as violent. Because they were so overwhelming to my system. They were terrifying. I did videos years back on anxiety and panic, and how it was like a downward spiral. You'd start to feel the anxiety, and then you'd be like, oh God, I'm feeling an emotion. Beep, red alert, red alert. I don't want to feel an emotion. And so then you hit into panic, and so it exacerbates, and then you're having a full-blown panic attack. And it can get bad really fast because you don't know how to deal with it. It's coming. So these panic attacks that people think that they're having are actually emotional releases, is my opinion from my experience. And then over time, you're like, okay, I can manage these panic attacks. I've found tools. Now, I've done lots of videos on the tools for dealing with released panic, released anxiety. And then came the fear releases, the fear purges. And I would be lying in bed, shaking, wailing, crying. And it was brutal because, again, I didn't know what I was doing, what was happening, even though at that point I had managed to cultivate the observer, which is our highest self, saying, it's okay, this too shall pass, you are safe, everything's okay. I learned the teachings from Pete Walker's book, Complex Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder, From Surviving to Thriving. And if you don't have the book, get that book. And even if you can't afford that book, go on to Pete Walker, Complex Post-Traumatic Stress Disorders, From Surviving to Thriving, his webpage. And it is, chapter 8 is there. So you can just read it for free, chapter 8, which has all the tools that you need to help you get through emotional releases, putting like a sign on your wall that says, I'm safe, reminding yourself. So there's all these processes to help you get through. And that saved me. Now, where I am is still processing a lot of grief when it comes to all the loss I have experienced in my life, as well as all the maltreatment, because loss isn't just about what you lose, it's also about what you didn't get. And there were a lot of things for my human development I needed, like an emotionally safe person, or how about even an emotionally regulated person? Like, one person that was emotionally regulated in my household would have been nice, but I didn't have one of those. I had tempers flaring, rage moments, inconsistencies. I had power dynamics. I had control. I had manipulation. I had narcissism. I had cuckoo cuckoo. Okay, I had cuckoo cuckoo. And I don't care what it looked like from the outsiders looking in. Nobody was in my household except for me and my brother. And so we know what went down. And for the rest of you that look on the outside and judge and think, oh, maybe they had it so lovely, you weren't there. I had nobody else. I didn't have neighbors. I didn't have family, like external family. They lived provinces away. I had nobody else. I had no safe person growing up. I didn't have a safe teacher. I didn't have a counselor. I didn't have any safe people. So the instability and everything was too much. So the learned response of suck it up, suck it down, people please, pretend, mask became my go-to at the age of 3. And so at the age of, now I'm 52, but I was 48 when this awakening started, and I had to start having all of the emotions. It's like there's a backlog, all of the emotions that I didn't have for the previous 48 years. 48 years worth of emotions is a lot of backlog. It's no wonder I was 130 pounds too heavy, and all my muscles were like, I can remember even when I was skinny, like in my 20s, I went to the doctor and, they were doing a routine physical and they weighed me and they're like, you're really heavy for your size. You don't look like you should be that heavy. Maybe you're big boned. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck my bone size is that it's like got me that much heavier than what, because like I was skinny in my mid 20s. I went through a phase where I was really, really skinny and I was still like 150 pounds at 5'2". Like it made no sense. The doctors were like, you must have big bones. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure they're made of steel. But aspiring to get to like 120 pounds ish, which is where I'm at now. Because I've released, finally, so much weight out of my bones. So what, you want a weight loss program? How about start emoting? Because all your emotions are weighing you down. Literally weighing you down. So now that I'm in my post bullshit safe zone for a year of recovery, a lot more emotions are surfacing every single fucking day. It's been a ride. So I'm giving this video to you now from my bedside because that's where it starts in the morning, because in the mornings, in that in-between place between sleep and consciousness is this lovely little subconscious place where it's like, oh, now we can come. Oh, now we can feel. We can express ourselves now. It's so much fun. My little 1-year-old self is like, and so now it comes. So before I'm even consciously awake, I have actually kind of trained my body to intuitively or instinctively start rocking. So the morning starts, I'm not quite awake, and the rocking begins. And it's just a simple little rock. This is why I'm doing this video in bed. Rocking, rocking, rocking. And as the consciousness starts to come, and as that little movement starts to release and just gently move the muscles around the spine, the emotions start to come. The emotions start to come. And so that's when the brain gets involved and goes, oh, I'm scared. This is scary. I feel like I'm dying. Don't do this. I don't want this. No. And this is when you get back into observer and go, it's okay. You're doing a good job. You are releasing. This is coming up for release. This is okay. You are okay. I am here for you. I am going to guide you through this. You are not alone. Everything is going to be okay. It's okay. And I have done guided meditations if you need help with that part of the process, to sit and listen, and basically be a mother role for you during your reparenting, because that's what we're doing. We're reparenting the inner child and giving the inner child what the inner child needed and never received. So the child that never was picked up, the child that was never rocked, the child that was never soothed, the child that was never like stroked, the child that was never given positive affirmation, the child that was never given validation, the child that was never like whatever it was that it needed. We got to give that to ourselves now. We have no choice. It's coming. It's coming. It has to get out. If you don't let it out, you will continue to get sick and sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. And then you will have disease. I don't want disease. I'm curing those things. I'm curing my body. And when you start to cure the body, you start to cure the emotions. When you start to cure the emotions and allow the emotions to flow up and flow out, then you begin to heal your life, your entire life, vibrationally. Everybody talks about like let's get high vibes. Well, to get high vibes requires feeling the low vibes. It requires releasing the vibes and letting the body become enlightened physically, emotionally, and mentally. But the process of doing this is going to drive your mind ape. Your mind's going to be like, no, don't feel it. Run away. Have this soothing thing, this cigarette, this pot, this pharmaceutical, this sacred medicine, this person. Pick up the phone, call a friend, go on social media. Oh my God, anything but feel it. Your mind's gonna scream like a banshee. Don't do it. It's a trap. Don't do it. Don't feel it. It's horrible. It's the worst. You're gonna die if you feel it. And yeah, you're gonna feel like you're gonna die. And the mind is going ape because it was given the program at age 1.5. It is not safe to feel this. So don't do it. I'm going to tuck it in behind and shove it places where you have no access to it. And I'm going to put an electric fence all the way around it. And so when you're getting close to it, first you're going to feel that electric fence like shocking you, going, no, don't. And then you get past the electric fence and you feel the emotion. And when I started doing this, it could take a long time, like a couple of hours. It really could take a long time. And sometimes it was like for 3 to 4 days, I was in bed going, oh my God, the anxiety, the anxiety, the anxiety. And there are tools that you can use that help soothe you through it, but don't stop it. And I'm more than happy to share those tools with you, depending on the flavor of emotion, because each emotion has a different flavor and each flavor requires different tools, strategies for dealing with. But generally, I can say all of them work better with music because music is very soothing. And I have many playlists that I listen to. If not music, my guided affirmations can help guide you through that. And if not my guided affirmations, other affirmations can help guide you through it. And it's not about negating you, but I like the the affirmations that are like, I'm safe. I'm safe. Okay. You're not trying to negate the emotion. If you're feeling fear, you're not going to say, I'm fearless and powerful. No, that's ridiculous. That's total not what you're feeling. So stop saying that that's what you're feeling. That's negating. Instead, say, I'm safe, even though I'm feeling fear and feeling, you know what I mean? You want to help it process out, not negate it. What you resist persists. If you push against somebody's hand, what are they going to do? They're going to push back, right? So instead of pushing, we want to create an environment where we're we're caring for it. So don't negate your experience. Find tools and ways to support yourself through it or to help create the movement of the energy. Now, some tools that I have used along the way are to help with extreme terror, cold showers. have been my go-to for that. First, having an extreme cold shower, then a very like 4 tea bag tea of chamomile tea. Ashwagandha has helped with that, and St. John's wort has helped with that. And then after the cold shower, getting warm and cozy into bed and putting on some soothing music. Musical choices I've used over the years have been chanting music, spiritual music. I love right now Holy Harmony by Jonathan Goldman, and anything by Jonathan Goldman because he does a lot of Reiki music. Absolutely love that. I have my own awakening playlist depending on the flavor of the emotions coming up. If you're feeling grief, listen to grieving music. Give into it and allow yourself to grieve it. It's when we're like, oh, I'm feeling sad, I need to put on happy music. No. That's resisting instead of carrying it out. Carry it out. Carry it out. Carry it out. We want it out. As Shrek always says, better out than in. And that is true with emotions. Somatic movement. Intuitively, you don't need a fancy video. Lie in your bed, get into your body, and be like, okay, body, how do you want me to move you? How do you need to be rocked? You want to be rocked like this? You want me to lie on my back? You want me to open and shut my legs like this? You want me to be in child's pose and just kind of move a little bit? Whatever it is. You want me to dance? You want me to do yoga? You want me to yin? Do what your body helps do, because when you move, actual movement is going to help facilitate the movement of emotions. Breath work. And there's so many different styles of breath work, and depending on the emotion, there's so many different breath works that you can use. Throughout my awakening, I have used, the box breath, 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4, and that one didn't really work for me. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people it does work for, though. I've done a long in breath, count to 6 in, and then double the length out breath, count to 12, exhale, or whatever it is, the count. It doesn't matter. The point is, whatever you inhale, you're going to exhale twice as long. Right now, I've been doing the 4-7 breath, which is a 4 count in through the nose, hold for 7, and exhale through the mouth for 8. That in combination with my rocking is allowing for the emotional releases to happen. And so then you're like, you can just feel it. And then all of a sudden it's like, wah! You're crying like a 1-year-old. And it's, luckily I live in my tiny house. I don't know if it's a soundproof house. But if anybody were standing near the house, they'd be like, what the heck is going on in there? 'Cause it's loud. When you release emotion, there is verbalization that comes with it. And I've made every type of wail and sound there is, like over the last 4 years. I've cried anguish. I've cried like deep, profound pain, like guttural. I've cried like snotty, blowing everywhere, screaming out. I've cried like, like the 3-year-old temper tantrum that's like, yeah, I've cried those. I've cried the slow tear that comes down with a little bit of a whimper. I've cried the terror, absolute terror. I have cried every sound of tear, because sound is also vibration, and better out than in. Use it. Hum if you need to hum, because that will help it come. And then release it, because if you weren't allowed to cry as a little one, or when you did cry, nobody came or nobody cared, or What are you crying about? I'll give you something to cry about. Yeah, all that bullshit. Yeah. Yeah, then it's in you, and so it needs to come out of you. So adding all that up, what am I saying? I'm saying this purge is brutal. It's brutal. 4 years. I'm laughing now because it's like, it is insanity. It feels like going insane. Other people are going to judge you. Like, my family told me how deeply flawed I was. Fuck off. Like, you have no idea the work that I'm doing, because my health is way more important to me than your opinions. Like, way more. And that's one of the more freeing things that you can get to on this awakening, when you realize whatever you're going through, whatever your emotions you're oppressing, that are finally being released, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what other people think. That's all programming. Oops, knock that down. That's all programming. That's societal programming. You know, when somebody else lacks capacity for compassion, that's because nobody showed them compassion. And when somebody else lacks the capacity to be like supportive or kind or caring or empathetic, that's because they don't have that. So I'm not going to minimize my healing. And look what I've healed. So if I'm so crazy and so deeply flawed, how is it that I alone, without the help of like the medical community, because all they did was fuck me up more, how is it that I've been able to heal diabetes, fibromyalgia, a buffalo hump, migraines, sinus problems, sleep apnea, uh, inability to like walk up a flight of stairs, memory fog, disassociation, depression, and the list goes on. How was I able to do that? Oh, wait, I emoted. That's how I was able to do that. Sure, of course. I altered my diet. Yes, I started exercising more and living a different style of lifestyle. Yes, I also single-handedly, all by myself, without the help of fucking anyone, quit alcohol, tobacco, pharmaceuticals, which fucked me up severely. I like the fact that that landed on that finger. They did not help me at all because they repressed the emotion that was desperately trying to come out. What is depression? It's a state of needing deep rest, is what it is, because you've been abused for too long. And when you negate your emotions, what you do is you stay in situations and around judgmental assholes too long. Too long. So freeing yourself emotionally means freeing yourselves from anybody that is saying emoting is wrong. And it's because they don't know how to do it either. Society as a whole has like this whole thing against emotions. Everything is like pharmacologicalized. Pharmacologicalized, is that the word? No. Pharmacologicalized, or diagnosed as being disordered, so stigmatized. Oh, wait a second, you're depressed because you were abused? Oh, you must have a chemical imbalance. No. How about depression is a normal human response to being abused? How about that? Oh, you have anxiety disorder? Oh, maybe because that's a normal human reaction when you have been like in a traumatizing situation for a number of years, which is known as complex PTSD. Oh, you have repressed anger and it bursts out inappropriately. Oh, maybe that's because your inner child was never allowed to express its disapproval of being hit. Maybe those emotions that we look at and we list off as being, disorders, Maybe they're the most orderly thing that you can do. It is the natural human process. We are like filtration machines. Okay? And we as a society are all clogged up, blocked up filtration machines. We need to sit in the vinegar. Okay? If you have a overly calcified dehumidifier, you need to like let it sit so that all the like calcification in vinegar, we need to sit in the vinegar, sit in the bitter, sit in it, and all of that begins to like clean out the pipes. We have to clean out the pipes so we can function like humans. Humans are supposed to have emotions, not just high vibe only emotions, all of the emotions, and we need to process through them. It's a processing. It's a constant processing. And when our human machine, our human biological machine is running properly, an emotion can run through you in about 90 seconds. That's it. That's all. It's like, whoa, I'm having a wave of emotion. It's war. And oh my God, I'm okay. The problem is we have a backlog, people. If you're overweight, you have a backlog of emotion. Prove me wrong. If you have health conditions, you have a backlog of emotions. That's what it is. If you have disorders, you have a backlog of emotion. So it's time to decalcify our system and sit in the vinegar, sit in the emotion, and clean out the system so that we can function like a self-cleaning machine. So that when an emotion comes in present day, we can process through it and we can respond ably to it. Oh, we're experiencing. It's an emotion. It's coming in. It's going out. It's releasing. I'm experiencing. I'm educating myself. But and through that we become more and more awake, more and more aware, more and more enlightened. That is enlightenment, folks. That is the process of enlightenment, of conscious evolution, is to process through an emotion and reach conscious awareness, because the emotion holds information that we then understand. And then we're like, oh my God, I'm a more compassionate person now. I'm a more evolved person now. I'm a more intelligent person now. I'm a better person now. I am a more communal person now. I am like, because the emotion has come in, it has gone through its cycle, and on its way out, we learn. But yeah, if it goes in and goes in and goes in and goes in, are we becoming enlightened beings? No. We're becoming fat, disordered, diseased beings. And then we die. And then we reincarnate and we do it all over again. Well, I don't want to do that anymore. So I would rather spend a morning lying in bed, rocking myself, listening to holy harmony, and having 3 or 4 purges that are absolutely exhausting. And then, oh, on the way out, I'm feeling lighter. I'm feeling more aware. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling better. And if I have to do that for another 365 days, I will. If I have to do that for the rest of my life, I will. Because each time I do it, I'm getting better. Look at what I started like. Look. That's like, you can't get more physical evidence than to look at my zoned out eyes and my fat body and my failing memory test. I was like losing early Alzheimer's. I failed a test. So all their misdiagnoses, and they're like, we'll try this, we'll try that. Not one of them said, you know what you need to do? All the counselors I went to, all the doctors, not one of them said, you need to go home and cry. So I'm telling you here now, what you need is to go home and cry. And if you're scared to cry, I can help you with that. I've got tools for that. But that's what you need. You don't need anything else but to feel the feels. That is the process. That is what an awakening is. So I'm not going to talk in like theoretical and lovely, jubbly, nonsensical stuff that doesn't actually give you any application. I'm going to tell you to get yourself into your bed in the coziest flannel sheets you have, or something nice, maybe grounding sheets if you need it. I used to have those. And you're going to rock and rock and rock and rock. And if you have to do it for an hour, great. And if you have to do it for 5 hours, great. If you said to me, and I asked you, what'd you do today? I spent 8 hours in bed rocking myself. I'm like, yes! Oh my God, you're a fucking warrior. That needs to be celebrated. Instead of being put down and seen as something that you're doing wrong and you're not doing life good enough. No, I am clearing out 50 years of stuff locked in my fucking body. 50 years. It's a free-for-all. Yes. 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 Release. It's okay. I got you. I got you. You comfort that inner child that did not get what it deserved. And listen, it's not about blame. It's not. It's not about saying, these people are assholes, even though maybe they are assholes. Maybe they were 100%, but maybe those assholes were raised by assholes, which were raised by assholes, which were raised by us for thousands of years. They didn't fucking know any better because they were all believing the nonsense that you should let a baby cry. And you were all believing the nonsense that like disorders are based on brain chemistry instead of being based on the fact that nobody will let you cry. So I'm letting you cry. Spread the word. Spread the word. I have just said that it is the best thing in the entire universe for you to do is to cry. It's healthy. It's healthy to cry. It is healthy to emote. It is healthy and healing. Praise Jesus. It is healing to cry. So to all my brothers and sisters out there that are in the throes of emotion, that are feeling the call from spirit that says it's time for isolation so that you can cry in privacy of your own space, so you can finally feel what you were meant to feel all those years ago. You can release. It's such a stupid word in the spiritual community. I want to release. Just want to release what no longer works for me. Well, how the fuck do you think you release it? Seriously, how do you let go? Let go. I just want to let go. It makes it sound like you're just sitting and you open your hands and stuff flies out of them like little fairies. Oh, look at the little fairy go. No, you got to let go by letting go. That's how you do it. You scream it out. You wail, you cry, you purge. That's what you do. That's how you purge. So to all my brothers and sisters out there doing the real warrior work, it is lying on your backside in cozy blankets, wet, just falling all over your face, snot hanging down the pillow, not being able to eat, having a headache and going, ow, it hurts. To all of you out there, kudos. Kudos. You're taking everything you were ever taught, which was a lie, and you are making things right. That is the best, bravest warrior work anyone could do. So with that all said, peace in is what comes right after everything else gets out.